I'm going to go ahead and call our meeting to order. And if everyone at this time would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. If everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, board members, we're down to approve the agenda. And we do have one item that we need to add to the agenda under item G tonight. And I need to add this and make a motion to consider Martin Hall 22-23 season contracts and budget. I need a second. A second by Ms. Barr. All in favor of amending the agenda by adding item G, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. Are there any other additions for our agenda tonight? If not, I need a motion to approve the amended agenda. I have a motion by Mr. Johar. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of approving the amended agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We'll move down now to recognitions with Ms. Ingrid.
Good evening, board members and guests. Rajiv, you get a pinch in a little bit. Missing your green.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'd like to begin, and I'm actually going to end recognizing a group of high school art students. The first part is, I hope that you noticed a few weeks ago when you all attended the KSBA conference, this year, instead of putting the live banners up, they put them in this book. And I just wanted to recognize our high school students who did that. So if you'll go to the next slide. That's what their banner looked like this year. It was digital, but I thought it was a really neat. They always give you a theme to go with. So I want to thank Ms. Niehaus's art class for a great representation for Muhlenberg County Schools. The next set of the next group of people is going to be the Mustang Senior Beta Club, and they rocked state convention this year with multiple wins. The description for the club trading pin, I wanted to let you all know, it kind of summarizes this club. You'll see it in just a few minutes. It explains the purpose of the Beta well. It says achievement, service, leadership, and character are the driving forces. The pin is a Volkswagen van behind our club that brings our betas together. So club members that advanced to nationals this summer are in the following areas. Hannah Rager, she won for the secretary for 2022. That's the outgoing president, it's okay, Buzzy Ashley. He was the 2021 secretary. Then we have Baker Hardison and Madison Morris. They received second place for apparel design. The next one is our campaign skit, and it won first place. Ooh. The next one is Caleb Coyne in Division I speech. He got 5th place. Caitlin Bogus in Division I received the black and white photography in 4th place. Our living literature won first place. They had the Alice in Wonderland theme. Miss Sophia Pike, she won the club trading pin. There's the little pin, the Volkswagen. I loved it. They went with a 70s theme. And the next one is Rayleigh Chadwick. She actually placed in 2 divisions. Division II jewelry, she received first place, and then Division II sculpture, she received first place. The next one is Alyssa Murch and Ethan Bletzinger with freshman problem solving, 2nd place. That's all of the beta, and I want to thank the senior beta members for representing Muhlenberg County well at state, and to thank Miss Michelle Armour and Miss Missy Thompson for their fearless leadership as beta sponsors. My final group, again, I'm going back to the art students. This evening, there are several that placed in a competition. It's the 2022 Scholastic Art and Writing Regionals. Miss Kimberly White takes great pride in this competition, and it is amazing the talent that we have in Muhlenberg County. So for the artwork, she created this video. There's music to it. I don't believe we'll be able to hear it tonight, but she will describe each of the students. So if you don't mind, we'll just watch that for a moment. This student won that artwork that you saw at the beginning, that piece. It was actually on the cover of the magazine, which is it's quite an honor. And as you're watching this, I'll tell you that all of the gold and silver artworks, they will be exhibited at the prestigious Downing Museum in Bowling Green this spring. All of the gold artworks, they go on to compete nationally for the state of Kentucky this summer. She did a great job showing you each piece that each student created. Wow. Problem. I will forward to you all through email the video itself. Kind of hard to see the colors of some of this, so that you all feel free to watch it as well. We are very blessed with very talented students in such a variety. Sports, yes, we're always excited, but the arts, the band, we're very blessed. We've got some great talented people. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all of our students. We're always proud of seeing everything that you're accomplishing and doing out there for our county. So we'll move down now to our treasurer's report. Mr. Lexington.
Pull this up. Excuse me. All right. Tonight I bring you the financials as of February 28, 2022. As always, we start with the revenues. The beginning balance this month was 34.68 million. That balance is up 6.27 million, mainly from the TVA revenues. Monthly receipts are down 7.1 million from last month at $3 million and up 41,000 from the same period last year. Our SEEP revenue is unchanged. Federal is down 812,000. State is up 179,000. Taxes are down 121,000. Other revenues are up 14,000. Food service is up 72, and daycare is down 97, for total securities and receipts of 37.69 million. Expenditures, total accounts payable was 1.244 million. Of that, that is up about 299,000 compared to the same period last year. The significant bills in February were trained for the ionization at 309,882. A&K construction for the cafeteria at 161,230. And Old National Wealth Management at $109,806. Payroll was about 2.78 million. That's up 202,000 versus February 2021, for a total expense of 4.023 million. Further breakdown of accounts payable, general fund was about 500,000. Fund 2 and school activity funds about 391,000. Construction 164,000. Debt service was 110,000. And food service and daycare was about 79,000. The general fund, let me bring that. Same thing. Okay, sorry. The ledger balance at the close of the month was 33.67 million, with the bank balance of 26.59. Outstanding checks are about 903,000, and with the cash close at 25.69 million. Breakdown of the February cash balance. General funds at 21.85 million. That's up about 200,000. Nothing else really significant, for a total of 33.67 million, which was down about $1 million from the previous month. Extended financial picture. We expect to have about 28.39 million in July this year. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions regarding the treasurer's report? If not, I need a motion to approve. A motion by Ms. Wells. Second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the treasurer's report, please say aye. All opposed? I hear none. Move down now to payment of bills and salaries. Mr. Washington.
Thank you again, Chairman Ranger. March 2022 board bills is $797,667.94. The significant payments at this month were debt service of $451,717. General fund was at 249. Fund 2, 92,000. Construction 5,500. We do expect more because we do get pay apps for the A&K construction. And food service and daycare was $144. Again, like I said, the significant payment was the Old National Wealth Management for our debt service payment.
Any questions or discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve payment of bills and salaries. Motion by Mr. Gilmore, second by Ms. Moore. All in favor of payment of bills and salaries, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down to public participation.
We have none.
Okay.
We have none.
Okay, thank you. So we'll go down now to the administrative report with Mr. Davis.
All right, thank you, Chairman Rager, board members. I'm going to start with Scott Noel. Appreciate Scott coming down this evening. He's going to give us an update on construction and what's going on with high school cafeteria. Thanks, Scott.
All right, thank you all. Real quick, I did stop by the site today. They are moving along really well. They're going to set the beam next week so that they can begin starting to tear out the wall underneath the library to open up into the space. They're going to be pouring a concrete slab for the kitchen. So things are moving along really well. And as long as Mother Nature holds out and keep blessing us with this weather, we'll keep our own schedules. Y'all have any questions for us?
What kind of timeline, Scott, are we still hoping for, completion? I know we're worried about getting some of the services in, I think, or whatever it is, that's our big worry with, that we're not gonna have power. It's gonna be built, we're not gonna have power. So.
Right, that's the big problem. I was just speaking with Mr. Hardison about it. Anything that has to do with steel or electric right now is we're getting 20 and 24, week lead times on something as simple as conduit, and then power panels are 3 and 4 months out. So we're hoping that we got the direct purchase orders and the contractor ordered it soon enough so that we could cut the check. And so we're monitoring that on all of our projects as to when the estimators are approved, and now it's time after they were approved until the contractor actually ordered the material. So we're watching that because we definitely don't want there to be a lot of lead time in between. So we've got to get in line as soon as we can.
So the worry is potentially starting next year and having some cafeteria issues. And now we have cafeteria issues, but they're working around them. It's difficult. But if we have no power at all, then it's going to be next to impossible. And I mean, Joe Cooper is aware and trying to come up with some contingency, but I'm sure hoping we don't have to float that very long trying to.
Right, and we're doing this with a lot of our projects, is we're looking at other avenues on how to either change the service, either if we have to go bigger or separate it out into smaller services. So trying to see what different manufacturers have at their availability that we can get our hands on fairly quickly. So yeah, we're dealing with the same thing on just about every project right now. So.
Any other questions for Scott?
Okay, thank you, Bob.
Thanks for your time, Scott. Scott. We are going to forego the principal's reports tonight. It may not have anything to do with UK games in May, I'm not sure. They're unavailable. We're not voting on it. I do want to congratulate our boys basketball team. They went state back-to-back years. Tough loss yesterday, but played well, represented us well. Our kids section was great. Several of you guys were there, so just very pleased that we got to go. I was hoping we could get into Saturday potentially, but they're easy kids to root for, and I know Coach Eads told them, and I had the opportunity to talk to them for just a minute, that they did more than just win a regional tournament. They, at a time when we needed something good, the county rallied behind them, and there were a lot of Muhlenberg County folks in Lexington. And it was just a feel-good story. It'd been a little better feel-good had we won, but regardless, just proud of that whole program. We got a lot of good things going on. It's not all basketball, but just yesterday was a cool day. Getting to go there was a good thing. So I want to go into the calendar just a little bit. We remain frustrated, and I'm quite sure the community is, and parents are wanting to know some time. So I'm going to kind of tell you where we stand now, then I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Bumps and let her talk about what she's kind of thinking with graduation. We're being held hostage right now by the legislature. And as it stands now, the last day was supposed to be, and Brent, you jump in here if I get off track, was supposed to be May 13th. Well, we have used 9 or 10 NTI days, but we haven't burned any other days on top of that, except the one that we missed for the state tournament. And let's be clear, we had around 150 staff members, I think, that ended up going up there, said they were going to go up there. There was no way we could have school with 150 staff members out, nor could we have NTI. Number one, you can only have NTI for a weather or a safety thing. This is neither of those, but you wouldn't have anybody to be connecting with them at home anyway. So yeah, some folks get frustrated. You kind of hate it. That's just the nature of the beast. When you don't have enough folks, you have to just add that day to the end. So when you add that day to the end, we're looking at 2 scenarios right now. If the legislature approves giving us back those 5 tornado days, which I think would likely include staff, we're pushing for that. Then we're looking at May 3rd, to go back to the original, May 13th with 1 extra day, the one yesterday, which puts closing day, not ideal, but on a Monday, May 16th. And then that's for kids. And then election day is the next day. Well, you can't have kids in on election day because they're polling places, but you can have staff. So in that scenario, we would have May 16th, last day for kids. May 17th would be, I think, closing day for staff. I think that's the most likely scenario. That bill, HB 39, apparently is sitting on the consent agenda. It's out of committee. It's passed through the House, sitting in the Senate, but they won't vote on it, or they haven't yet. Whatever jostling they're doing, that simply hasn't come up yet. But the fact that it's sitting on the consent agenda gives you pretty good confidence that it's going to pass. So I feel like the most likely scenario, the state tournament's behind us now. Bad weather could still happen, flooding could still happen, but we also have one more NTI day to use. So you got to believe that we're past that as well. We're hopeful we're past that. So I'm hoping that May 16th would be the last day for kids. The other scenario, for whatever reason, this does not pass. Well, then you got to go through election day. We're at May 16th already, and you got to add 5 days for students. One of them cannot be that Tuesday, election day. So then you're adding the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the following Monday and Tuesday. That makes the last day for kids at May 24th on a Tuesday, and for staff on May 25th. So really, with the weather being some concern, although we're middle of March now, I'm hoping it's not a big concern. That looks like the most likely 2 scenarios that we're dealing with. And then Donna has to turn around and take those scenarios and try to decide on what's the graduation date look like, because obviously folks are trying to plan. And I can promise you, all the superintendents in the districts where we've had tornado issues and have been out, we've pushed, we've called, we've reached out. Please just vote on this and let us know something. And we're just not making the progress we want to make. So I'm going to turn it over to Donna for a second, let her talk about her thoughts on the graduation date, given the calendar we may be looking at.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Davis. I appreciate you setting that up for me. So that'll help with my explanation to be a little shorter, hopefully. With all of that information that Mr. Davis has shared with you, 2 potential dates jump out to us in talking with him and in just my thoughts. The first one would obviously be on May 13th, the Friday before, since the last day of school could potentially be on May 16th. And instead of dragging out that entire time for our seniors, as we all know, this class of 2022, it's been since their freshman year, since they've really had what we would consider a normal year. And now that we're kind of back to that normal status, as I'd like to say, I would like to continue to provide them that normal atmosphere, or what has been somewhat of a traditional atmosphere would probably be a better way of saying that, as in the years past. So with that said, I think May 13th would be the first potential date, in the hopes that we get the 5 days forgiven. And we can hold graduation before the last day of school. It's not ideal, because we have done that before. And it wasn't ideal then. However, we are only talking of one day, that one day being on May 16th. Now, on the flip side of that, if it is that we are not forgiven the 5 days for the tornado relief, then as Mr. Davis shared, that would push us back to the following week, with the last day of school being for the students on May 24th. And then potentially holding graduation then on May 27th, which would be Memorial Day weekend. They've traditionally held it then. We could potentially push it back to May 20th. Then you're looking at 2 days of school, and we do also have to think about underclassmen with the freshmen through juniors and finals and things of that nature. So I really think that the 13th or the 27th would be the greatest dates, potential dates for us to consider for graduation.
And Donna, you were talking about maybe putting both of those out there, just to kind of try to let folks know exactly where we are, because really that's all we can do.
Yes.
We're holding this.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, as a matter of fact, as you were speaking, I was actually typing up that potential email because we know how board meetings are, and and again, now that we are somewhat in person at our board meetings, we may have other members of our community there. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and take an opportunity to get that information out before others could put it out there before that we could at the school level. So, and obviously, I'll make sure that you and Carla, who's always our go-to for that and helping with communicating those things, do that. Now, however, Carla may not be able to do my grammar, so Carla, sorry about that if it's not all perfect, but I do want to make sure that we do put out that information tonight now that we are holding that board meeting and we are finally talking about potential dates and what that end of school year would look like.
You guys have any questions on that? It's convoluted, but that's just where we are. We're just kind of waiting. And I really am pretty confident that we're going to get it. So I really feel like the 16th, and the 13th are the likely dates, but we just can't say it for sure. Legislation in general, the session's down to 10 or 12 days. I forgot, I meant to look that up exactly, but we're closing in on the final run here, so they've got to make a decision soon. A couple other bills of note, HB 9, House Bill 9, the charter school bill. That kind of came up last year, and they passed it, then it was challenged in court, and the challenge was upheld, and now that's being appealed, but they're making another run here at it, which would essentially move some money, public school funds would follow kids to a charter school. Now, right now, they're talking probably bigger cities kind of thing. It's not so much rural, but you don't like that getting started because the problem, and again, let me be clear, I'm not saying charter schools are evil. Now, I never said like homeschool, which is another thing is bad. It's how are they applied? And the problem with sending money there, in my mind, is when there's no testing and I don't have the same accountability as we do with safety, with background checks, with all these different things that we're held accountable for. We have to spend money on and do. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but when they don't have that same accountability, we just don't feel public school funds should go there. Now, here's what's happening. Let's go to the budget, which is the House Bill 1, which was where the budget started, and a very favorable budget. I've told you that we've been pretty pleased with that. The full day kindergarten was back on there. Increasing transportation funds was on there. Seek, like $100 a year and then more was on there. All things we pushed for forever. Very pleased with that. There's more ESSER funds up there, so they've got a little more money to do things with. Well, what's happened now is it's in the Senate, and apparently what's going on is that the Senate is saying, you know what, full day kindergarten is out. Full day kindergarten is out unless you vote for this charter school bill. So now it's a token in that game, and also transportation, the increased funding there. Maybe that's not going to happen if you don't vote for this one. So there's some stuff going on. There's politics going on in Frankfurt, and that's kind of where it's at. So it's kind of getting watered down some of it, not looking as good now as it did. So I'll keep you up to date. But right now, we're not really pleased. I'm not pleased with what I think I'm seeing, and so I'm a little frustrated with it. But just trying to keep you guys as up to date on that as I can. I've talked to you about House Bill 39. That's the tornado relief days. I've already mentioned that in prior context. So that's the big ones. There's some others, but those are the main ones. Just I want to fill you in on tonight. Some of that information is new just from today, especially on the withholding the full day kindergarten, and some of that seems like that's going on. I want to talk about the salary schedule for next year. Hoping to bring that to you guys, Eric and I, are next month. Could be May, but we're shooting for April. Could require a special work session or just a work session. So I'll let you guys know. Lining up a date is always going to be interesting. So we'll work on that. So what we're working on, what we're looking at, because we are in better position to do something for our folks and make sure we're competitive with the surrounding districts. Now, we still have some worries. TVA is still a worry. ESSER funds now, they're going away after next year. And you're going to see, we're going to keep some of those extra positions we have because that's really important for kids. So we're excited to be able to do that, but that's not going to be with us after next year. So we got to be prudent here, but it's time. We're in a position to look at some things. So one of the things we're looking at is I've asked Eric to look at each county. I brought this up before, but I want to keep saying it. Each county that borders us, look up and see, and I'm talking mainly classified now, but this is certified as well. You know, where are we in comparison with bus drivers, with cafeteria workers and all? You know, we don't want to be losing our folks to McLean County and losing our folks to Butler County, whatever. So Eric is been on this for quite a while, taking all those numbers and finding the average, and where are we in comparison to that average? And then, so what that's likely going to mean is that some job classifications could get a bigger bump than others. Essentially a market adjustment that probably should have been done way back. But I'm pretty comfortable that the criteria is good criteria. When you're looking at neighboring districts and then just where are they at? So Eric's been working on that, and then we're also going to be, you know, what can we bring to you as an overall race, you know, for all. And we're looking at some other things too, maybe some holidays and some. We're really trying to take a thorough look at what we can do with our salary schedule and be wise about it, you know. And so that's kind of where we are, and I'll keep you guys posted. And again, it may take a work session to hash this out. Eric, anything to add to that? So this, our folks, you know, they're like, hey, is that something coming? Probably. And we're just trying to do it wisely and match up, and, you know, again, that's the criteria. It's not Davis County, which would always be a lot higher. It's not some small county, which will always be a lot lower. This is real. Who are we losing our folks to? We've got to be competitive. We can't be losing our folks to, you know, just driving across the county line because, you know, we changed the sub pay earlier in the year because people were making quite a bit more just to go to McLean County. So we've got to make some market adjustments there, and I'm confident that we're in a position that we can. So we'll let you know more.
We are trying to err on the upper side, you know, so if it's, you know, if there's several categories that fall into our categories, we're trying to err on the side that's a bit higher rather than, you know, say, oh, we're just going to take the lower average. No, we're going to take the higher average and do that to make a market adjustment.
Because, I mean, y'all know, and I'm not saying it's just the profession we're in. It could be bankers, it could be everything else, and certainly nurses, and maybe some distillers. Nobody is making what they deserve to be making. I mean, our folks have been incredible through really difficult times, and by and large, just put their heads down and got it done. And so I'm really hoping we can do something. And whatever we do, I think we need to look at it each year similarly. Look again, and do we need to do something again? You know, I don't think it's a one-time thing. We got it all right. We need to take a major step in the right direction. I'm hoping we can. Strategic planning continues. We've met with tons of folks, got tons of feedback. We have finished the employment engagement survey, and you know, there's a lot of information there that we're sorting through. So I think we meet again next week in the steering committee, and we'll start coming together. And then, all right, what are some things that as a district we need to whittle it down, 4 or 5 things that we really want to stand for and focus on. And so it's been a really good process. We don't always hear what we want to hear, but you got to listen to your folks and then try to improve from there. And that's certainly what we're trying to do. So that's, I think that covers everything. That's my superintendent report, unless there's questions.
Thank you much. And our personnel actions are in our minutes, so everyone's had a chance to review those. And we'll also move down now to the attendance and enrollment report. Mr. Brooks.
Chairman Rager, let you take a look at that report just briefly, and I'll just answer any questions you have. The 6th month ended on February 22nd, so it's running a little bit behind. So, and you see there on the chart the enrollment numbers below the actual attendance percentages. I do believe these are a little bit truer numbers than we were seeing earlier on, because we were boosted up a little bit with QRS days. Those were the supportive calculation by the state when we had COVID cases, and I think we're in much better shape now, obviously, and I think these are more authentic numbers than we were seeing first of the year.
Are we seeing a lot of flu cases yet? I'm hearing that's.
We have had some, you know, some illness out there, and that's where, you know, on a daily basis, Mr. Davis and I look at those numbers, and we're seeing those numbers in some, you know, there is some illness out there.
And you made a good point that I neglected to say earlier, when we're kind of concerned about what our number looks maybe a bit better than it is. We're still using 18-19 enrollment numbers and ADA numbers. All right, if we go back now, we are asking, we have asked, and KDE is helping us get out there, that we're asking it, if we're a tornado impacted district, give us 2 to 5 years of keeping 18-19 numbers, because folks have to rebuild. They're dislocated and all this. So we're asking for that, and I cannot find where we are with that. I don't know if that's going to happen. But if we go back next year, or we go next year to next year's numbers, we're looking at close to $1.5 million. $1.5 million a year. I mean, 18-19 has been great for us using those numbers, because we're a district, unfortunately, who's losing about 100 kids a year. So that's really helped us. There's not much good come from COVID, but that's one of the things that has helped us. Eric, am I right about our numbers? About around $1.5 million. So we're really hoping that in legislation they come out and say, all right, at least 2 years. We're asking for 5. Just hold those numbers and let folks rebuild. And it's like Dawson Springs, I don't know, such a major hit they would take. Ours is bad enough. Dawson Springs lost so many homes, a great percentage. So that, I didn't want to bring that up. I'm glad you said that, Brent, but that's another concern with the budget, that watch the legislation, let's see what they do.
Thank you, Brett.
We'll move down now to our board action items. And item A is to approve community eligibility provision for food service for the 22-23 year.
Yeah, as I said, Ms. Cooper is not feeling well, so I'm kind of stepping in for her a little bit on this. But this is simply, we are again eligible for free and reduced lunch and breakfast for all kids, which is an amazing thing. I hate to think of going back. We just need you guys to approve that.
Have a motion by Mr. Joe. Everybody seconds food. I think that was Mr. Bowers. All right, all in favor of approving the community eligibility provision for food service, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll go down to item B, to consider approving summer feeding program for the summer of 22.
And this is just approval to continue what we've been doing. Joe Cooper's amazing, and her folks are amazing, and they feed kids all summer, and we just want to do it again this summer.
I make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of feeding kids all summer, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll move down to item C. Approve change order for Bremen baseball infield project.
Thank you, Chairman Rager. As you know, a lot of the debris from when New Bremen was built was put in the old where the ball field is currently. And every time it rains, and it was a big gravel field. So every time it rains and everything, more gravel comes up. So, and really in the essence of being safe, we're talking about stripping down a lot more of the gravel, putting a product called GeoGrid, which I believe that the military uses it for. I think you got it.
We use it at the distillery, and you can drive a dump truck over it or an 18-wheeler, and it will not buckle, bend, or anything.
Yeah, the military uses it when we make highways and stuff out of the desert. And then putting a fabric over the top of that, and then covering it, so that way when the kids are sliding, they're not sliding on rocks. So the cost of that would be $19,865. I think it's a good investment, because frankly, if we don't do that, we're going to be stripping off what we've just put on, and there's a lot of money in the dirt that we've just purchased. So this is a good investment.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second by Ms. Bard. All in favor of approving the change order for Bremen baseball infield project, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll go to item D, to approve construction documents for Muhlenberg North Middle Vestibule.
Thank you, Chairman. You did approve the BG1 last month, and what we're doing is now getting the 2 and 3 ready, so we can start getting the process going. We're trying to get everything so we can get materials ordered, so I can use the safe. Some of the funds that I have available, about $60,000, so we can pay for the materials with that, because those funds run out in May. So we want to get that ordered, and then we also have Felix Martin Jr. Foundation funds available that we had previously a couple of years ago, actually, and now we're actually finally getting to where we can put this into place. So these are just more perfunctory steps to get the process going.
Any questions?
And Scott's here if you have any questions.
Still?
I was waiting for this item and I'll go.
If there's no questions, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Ms. Barr, second by Mr. Gilmore. All in favor of approving the construction documents for Muhlenberg North Middle High School, please say aye. All opposed? Here none. Thank you. All right, we'll move down now to item E, to consider posting 14 certified teaching positions and 2 classified positions for the 22-23 school year using ESSER funds. Ms. Bryan?
Good evening, everybody. What I'm asking to do is to post these positions using ESSER funds. This will be a continuation of what we started last year. We had all the principals together a plan on how they could use this money, how they could bring teachers in, extra help to get kids caught up where they need to be or try to make those attempts. So what we're asking for this year is just a continuation of that. I've met with the principals again this year, actually did over the last couple of weeks. We went through all their staffing and kind of talked about how these people could be used again. They felt they were very, very valuable in the schools. Mr. Davis and Eric and myself have discussed the funding on it. We feel like that's something we could do. So we're asking to post these positions for next year.
We're about 25% through the ARP ESSER funds, the last round that we were given, so we're.
Any questions? If I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. Wells, second by Mr. Bowers. And all in favor of considering the post of 14 certified positions and 2 classified for 22-23 year using the ESSER funds, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none. We'll go now to item F. And this is to establish new position, a program coordinator for Muhlenberg Achieves. Mr. Davis.
All right, let me start so I won't forget. This is 100% funded by the Felix Martin Jr. Foundation. Nothing will be coming from the school system. However, our kids, we have a group of kids that are going to greatly benefit from this program. Try to give you a really quick background. I had a community member call a few months ago, said, hey, I represent a few other community members and we would like to give some money and let's help some kids. Let's do something for some kids. And so we've met several times, and early on, Alyssa got involved and kind of formed a partnership. So what we're going to have is a great opportunity for some incoming 6th graders next year to do. And we've been working, we spent hours on this, working on a program, opportunities, expectations, and all. And I won't get much further into it than that at this point, but I will tell you, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it. And I know both middle school principals are as well, and elementary folks they're working with us as well. But this position is an extension basically of Muhlenberg Achieves. It would be somebody to run this, totally dedicated to helping make this work. And at the end of the day, I really think it's got a chance to be something pretty cool for some kids. So there's no downside. We've just got to figure out how to maximize the upside. And that's what we're working on. So this is simply that position, but again, the Felix Martin Foundation is funding that. Alyssa, add anything you'd like to. She's been knee-deep in this stuff for a bit. She may be more excited than I am.
I am really excited, and I don't know if you said in the meeting by talking about it, but I'm happy to share. We have more paperwork than you can ever see, talking about what that program is going to be. I think it's going to be really great, and will allow us to bring that Muhlenberg Achieves work in the middle schools.
Yeah, and we started with just kind of big idea, the potential, and then keep whittling it down. We met this morning for about an hour and a half, and we're getting there, and it's going to be really neat. So we just need you guys to approve that position. Again, totally funded by the Martin Foundation.
Any questions? I need a motion to approve.
I make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Wells. Yes, thank you. And a second by Mr. Delbar. All in favor of posting the new position for the program coordinator? I can't talk. please say aye. All opposed? I hear none. And we'll go down now to item G, to consider Martin Hall 22-23 season contracts and budget. Mr. Manningham?
Chairman Rager, Board members, Mr. Davis. Just a quick note, and there in the policy memo is contained, just a reminder that, again, our public season is 100% funded by community donations and sponsorships, as well as ticket sales. So there's no school money that's going into this public season. And we are excited about celebrating our 10th year of Felix A. Martin Junior Hall. Sort of behind in that because we didn't have a 9th season, so we're in the middle of that right now. I know, it seems mind-blowing that it's been 10 years, but that's where we are. Excited about some big shows coming in for 22-23, and some returning favorites and some types of shows that have done really well here over the years. I will note there's one change, I think, as I was updating things. The spring show, which actually will close the season St. Patrick's Day next year, is actually the Hunts. They were a favorite at Martin Hall the first couple of years that it was open, so the one-man Star Wars trilogy is an error on my part for us. So the Hunts is the show that will be finalizing things next March. It's an exciting season. It's a big season, but we're still pretty positive that with the sort of added allure of the 10th season that we will bring in even more than usual in sponsorship money as well as ticket sales.
Are there any questions?
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you. If not, I need a motion to approve the contracts and budget for the Martin Hall. Motion by Ms. Barr, second by Ms. Wells. All in favor of considering the Martin Hall contracts and budget, please say aye. All opposed? I hear none. Before we go to our consent agenda items, I'm gonna let Mr. Davis kind of make an announcement.
Yeah, and I talked to each of the board members individually, so I'm not dropping the bomb on them, but I will be, I'm announcing my retirement at the end of the year, which is June 30th, so I'll be going through June 30th. I can't say anything bad because I'm not announcing it for tonight, so I've still got to be nice for 3 more months. And I don't want to spend much time on this, but I will say it's not because I don't like my job. It's not because COVID has just gotten me. A lot of folks have tough jobs. I like my job. I'm blessed to have my job, and I'm honored to have this job. It's not because of the board. You guys are pretty good to work with. It's not because of the staff. We have an amazing staff. It's certainly not the kids. I love the kids. This is 100%. It's time to give some time back to my family. Time to give some focus to my family that is, you know, I'm just not able to do. So I'm in that position. I'll be 58 next week, you know, and so I'm kind of getting there. But you know, I also want to help Gretch with Illuminary Mental Health Facility. We'll be able to help some there. So I'm excited about all that. But I just have to say it the right way. It's not because I'm running from this, because it's just miserable. It's not. Days are good. I enjoy what I do. I'm blessed to work with the folks I do. It's simply what's out there that I'm looking forward to that opportunity. So that's it. I know it's a process. We have to get started. I'll talk with Melody tomorrow and figure that out with KSBA, I think. KSA is the one that works with us, and we'll get that going. So I'll get my end done and in so we can start that and make sure we get someone in time, and whoever he or she may be, I hope they're in time where I can really, you know, we'll work together. I do everything in the world I can to just kind of, you know, catch them up, and whoever comes in, we'll just take it to another level. So that's that.
We appreciate you.
You don't have to vote on that.
No, I know, but we appreciate everything you've done up to this point and will continue to do for us, even more so between now and June 30th.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we'll make it hard for you. We'll try to be as hard as we can on him, bless his heart. He's had a bunch going on since you took this position, so I know it's not been easy, and I can't say if I was in your position that I wouldn't be doing the very same thing. So we support you in your decision, and we know that family is always first. So no worries from us. We know you're doing it from your heart, and that it's time for you to make I move, so we support all of that. Anyway, but like I said, we're gonna make it hard for them between now and June.
Will I notice a change?
All right, thank you, Robbie. So we'll go down now to our board consent agenda items. And this is to approve the minutes of the prior board meeting, consider leave of absence requests, accept a donation from the United Way, facilities use agreement, fundraising request, and field trip request. And board members, you've had a chance to look over all of these in your packets. Are there any questions or discussion? If not, I need a motion to approve the board consent agenda items.
I make a motion.
A motion by Ms. Wells, second by Mr. Bowers. All in favor of approving the board consent agenda items, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we'll go down to adjournment. I have a motion by Mr. Bowers and a second by Mr. Jafar. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? I hear none, and we are adjourned. Thank you.